This video is a comparison of the Bugout 535-3 with the Osborne 940-1. So I bought the 940 a few days ago, and I really enjoy it. And I enjoyed it a lot more than the Bugout, so I'd like to just say why I prefer the 940-1. And I'm actually going to be returning the 535-3. So let's see, the first issue that I noticed was the spacer at the back. If you look at the anodization, I don't know if it's the particular batch that I got, but that's a very dull looking anodization. You can see the spacer in the 940-1 is this bright, vibrant blue, and this one's kind of like a dull, almost navy blue. And it doesn't even, like, the anodization on the thumb stud looks correct. So that was the first issue. And looking at the box, it does seem legit to me. And I'll show you. If you zoom in to the font a lot, you can see the font has these very special comb-like patterns on the Benchmade. Yeah, and you can see the date there, November 29th, 2021. Yeah, so yeah, I definitely think it's legit. I think it's just maybe the batch. Okay, so let me zoom back out. Okay, so that was the first thing that I don't like. I don't really like the gap here. I think it looks unfinished. So if you look at the 940-1, you can see just that extra little bit of metal. I think it makes it look more complete. And like, how much metal are we talking about here? And yeah, as I opened it up, it just reminded me how stiff this knife came. So yeah, if I hold back the axis lock, you can see it's like very stiff right now, like super stiff. And I read somewhere online that when these get shipped to Canada, they really tighten them up to avoid border security rejecting them. My 940-1 was also a little bit stiff in the beginning, but then if you put a little bit of oil right on where the back of the knife touches the axis lock, just put like a drop of oil there, that really loosened it up. So that's the action there. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, I think these corners, they're not quite. See how they're not quite rounded? I guess that's the style of the Bugout, and I kind of knew that when I was buying it, but when you compare that to like the Osborne, the 940-1, see how everything's kind of like smooth, it's nice. It seems a lot more refined, where this seems like it's just kind of been, like kind of like haphazardly cut or shaped. And another thing that I don't like is just the way it feels in the hand. So this feels just really thin. I mean, the difference, I think that when I measure the difference between the thickness of the handles, it's only like maybe, I think it's like 1.5 millimeters. So they're very similar, but it doesn't feel like it doesn't fit there. And I think maybe part of the reason is because you'll notice there's no liner on the bottom, whereas the 940 has this jimping on the bottom as well as on the top. And the jimping is much better on the 940-1. It feels much better. You can see it's much a finer jimping, whereas the 535-3 it's more it's more spaced out. Yeah, so I think one thing though that I will give it to the Bugout is the pocket clip. I think that pocket clip is quite nice. Yeah, especially if you want to deep carry, then that's definitely a win. But everything else, yeah, I'm really not impressed. And you'll notice there's no inner spacer there, and the 940-1 has that extra spacer, so you can kind of like it does flex a little bit. So maybe they could have put, I mean, I guess they're going for like the lightest weight possible, and maybe that's why they didn't put a spacer, and maybe that's why they didn't want to put a little bit of extra metal. But I think it just makes the knife look a little bit unfinished, and feel unfinished. All right, so that's my comparison between these two knives. Have a good day.